Okay, I know it's been a while since I updated. I've been extremely busy. I have the Texas Chainsaw review I need to put up, and this one too. I actually saw this movie twice now. Once Friday and once today. We just got back from seeing Mama. That's a title that doesn't get any easier to say, I'm telling you right now, because I feel like a child every time I see it, or say the title. Went up to the theater first time. 2 tickets for Mama, and I'm thinking, do I have Freudian issues I need to work out or something? And today, Cammy and I will go to see it, same thing. I'm like, God, these people must think I'm nuts. I mean, yeah, sure, they know the movie's called Mama, but here's this guy wearing a Splatterhouse shirt. 2 for Mama. Yeah, it hard for me to wrap my head around the title, except for the fact that the movie is fucking awesome. You see, as I see in the Texas Chainsaw review that will probably go up shortly before this one too, I had issues when movies try to make the villain sympathetic. Like, Leatherface being sympathetic doesn't work because it's Leatherface. He kills people with a chainsaw and potentially eats them. Saw. You can't make Jigsaw sympathetic, well, that sympathetic. Because after he kills everyone involved in his child's death and his wife leaving him, he comes up with this elaborate scheme to get back at the people, like in the first movie. This doctor, he's an asshole. I want to see him renew his life. If you really think about it, the first movie worked alone. But as part of the series, the first movie kind of just starts to fall apart. But we're not talking about Saw. Thank God. That would be a movie. See, I'm going to talk about the bad things first with Mama, because that's the shorter portion of this. And they're both kind of debatable. My biggest gripe is the over-reliance on CGI in certain parts, especially with the monster. The only reason I'm saying that is because late into the movie you see, when you start seeing the monster more and more, they show someone that looks like the monster with practical effect. And it's not the greatest effect, but it's not bad at all. In fact, when you see it, it's kind of like, ew. And that's the reaction you're supposed to have from it. But when you have certain things like the walls constantly bleeding, and instead of having a practical effect, which would have worked better, I think, it's all CGI. And I know Guillermo del Toro didn't direct it. He, I think, produced it? Mm-hmm. He produced it. But I think if he directed it, those parts especially would have stood out as being some of the most disturbing parts in this movie. Especially when things start to go haywire and you first kind of see one of these holes in the wall.
Start to go haywire, he says.
Well, very haywire. The other complaint I have is the overuse of jump scares in the beginning. Like, in the very beginning, there's an alarm, that's a jump scare. There's banging around the house and then a door opening, that's a jump scare. Guy breaking a chair, jump scare. All of these are in the first 5 minutes. And then you get later in the movie where they have jump scare after jump scare after jump scare. But those work. And the big reason those work is because a lot of those jump scares revolve around the titular character, Mama. What gets me, though, is it's one of those things, if I had to do without the jump scares in this entire movie, I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much. I think they should have taken out a lot of the jump scares in the beginning, and maybe a few in the middle. But that's mainly because it feels weighted. Jump scares in the beginning, genuine creepy scares in the middle and end. And the beginning just kind of goes like that. Because the rest of the movie is completely... How would you describe that experience? Not cerebral, but...
It was really fucking disturbing.
It's disturbing. It's emotional disturbing. Not just, hey, look!
There's not a lull, is what it is. It keeps going. It's, because some movies, they have like an up and a down and an up and a down. This one just didn't.
Like, Pontypool, for example, had those ups and downs.
Yeah.
Because it built up when, the traffic guy's talking about the attacks, and then it dropped down and then picked back up. This one, it has the beginning where it's jump scare after jump scare, then it drops down a slight bit and then picks up again. It's like a fighter pilot doing a stupid jump during, or not jump, a stunt during an air show. He goes down a bit and then picks right back up. It feels like an airplane taking off. And instead of relying on the scares, it relies on emotional impact. Which, I watch a lot of horror movies, and I haven't really had a movie do it as well as that one, as Mama. Now, I don't want to delve too much into spoilers. I watched it Friday, and the reason I didn't record this review Friday is because Cammie had wanted to see it too, and I was like, oh, I'd take her to see it next Friday. Well, today's her birthday, so I decided to take her today. Hi, Kat. And, I'm glad I went to see it twice. For two reasons. Big one is, this is one of those movies, you watch it the first time, you're going to miss something. You watch it the second time, you catch it, and it's like, that makes so much sense now. Now, I don't even want to ruin that. The other reason is, people in theaters don't know how to compose themselves. The first time I watched it, I was actually on a date, and as much as we enjoyed the movie, I basically said I may have to watch it again so I can catch everything that was going on. People, in a horror movie, if something scary happens, like, I don't know, someone falling down the stairs or someone getting killed, laughing probably isn't the reaction you're supposed to have when everybody else around you is going, when the monster comes out at you, screaming bloody murder, and you see everyone else is scared, you probably should be going, ha 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 ha! Wow, this is funny. And to top it off, when people tell you to shut the fuck up, like this happened today, I don't know if you heard. Someone in the audience leaned over to these teenage girls and said, we're trying to enjoy this movie. Shut up. To which they turned around and said, well, the movie's not that good. And the guy's like, what are you, 14? How would you know what a good movie is? They got quiet after that. The first time I saw the movie, 5 different people told a different group of girls to be quiet. And they just kept talking throughout the whole thing. I had to move. Someone got the usher twice to get these girls to be quiet, and they would not do it. And yet, no one kicked them out. Figure that one out. So yeah, people, unless it's a really, really bad horror movie like, say, M. Night Shyamalan's Devil, it's not a good idea to laugh when everybody else around you is going, That being said, let's get back to the movie. They don't necessarily rely on jump scares as much as every other movie does. Now, I know I just said they overuse jump scares, and they do, but instead of relying on jump scares for the actual scares, it builds up on emotional impact. When you find out what's going on with Mama, it's kind of like you don't know what's coming. You don't know if you should feel sorry for her or not. And you kind of do. But at the same time, you're like, she's this evil fucking bitch. And this leads me to not really spoiling the end of it, but if anyone's watched Pan's Labyrinth, the ending is very much reminiscent of that. In the point that instead of just being an absolute, hey, here's a scare, it's sad.
It is really, really emotional and sad.
There is kind of a big fight with the final monster, but it is not, yeah, they got the monster. It is very sad. You're not screaming. You're kind of tearing up. You're watching this going, I will never think of a little girl calling for her sister to hang out with her mother the same way again.
No.
What?
You're a dick. Why would you? No.
I mean, it is very, very sad. And they didn't go for the cliche ending that we both thought they were going to go for.
No, it was really good.
I mean, you're like, oh, this happened. I really don't want to spoil it because you guys should really, really see this. And it's like, this happened and that's it, right? No.
Like, problem solved. Nope.
No. No. Shame on you for thinking that. And, you know, I gotta give credits to the actor who played Mama in it. I don't know if the actor has Down syndrome or if that was just makeup, but he plays a woman well. And that's not a joke. The actor who plays the monster is actually a man, even though the monster is a woman. And I've seen this done a lot. And, very thin, emaciated, sickly-looking monster, played by what I'm suspecting is this very tall, scrawny guy. And yet he strikes that surreal, ghost woman, feminine quality.
It's creepy.
There's one scene where the little girl sees Mama standing there. She's kind of like this. Like on one or two legs crossed over each other, so it looks like one leg, and she's leaning over like this. And then all of a sudden she goes into full hardcore monster mode, and it's just seamless.
It is. The movements are really like, the Mama has a combination of really, really fluid movements that are disturbing in how well they flow, and also like really, really jerky movements that give you that inhuman quality.
The only actor I could think who could do that just as well is Doug Jones.
Yeah.
And while I was kind of shocked that he wasn't in this movie, at the same time, I don't think it would have the same quality, because like in Pan's Labyrinth, he kind of does the flourishes that would not work for this.
Yeah.
And this one is very raw. What?
Primal.
Yeah, primal, raw. Like in the beginning, when you see the little girls in this abandoned cabin and they're slashing at these guys looking for them, when you first see them scaring them, they're animalistic, but you can tell they're people. Then they start clawing and roaring, and you're kind of like, well, that's freaky.
And the really sick part is that they do sound like wild animals. I mean, it's not just little kids playing pretend. They sound like animals.
Hell, even the beginning, the credits, where they have the pictures, I had to pay close attention to this the second time around. We love you too, Aberline. Chinchilla Man just yawned. But, you see some of these pictures, like they're eating the cherries, then you see a raccoon attacking one of the girls, which, by the way, I'm surprised that they didn't look back to that when she handed Luke the picture of the raccoon.
I didn't realize that the raccoon attacked her.
In one of the drawings, the raccoon,
oh, yeah.
two raccoons were attacking the girl, and then the raccoons are dead, and the two girls are standing by the raccoons.
Yeah.
Later, you see the older girl in the drawing crying as the younger one's eating a dead rat.
Yeah, that's just...
And it kind of shows you the split quality that will happen through the movie, where Lily, the younger daughter, is very much more of an animal than Victoria, to the point where, in the beginning, Lily is 1, doesn't know how to speak yet. Victoria is 3 and has this pretty good vocabulary.
She does. She has a slight speech impediment, but she does actually have a really good vocabulary.
I don't know if it's a speech impediment or the cute little girl speech, you know. R's sound like W's, so...
Why are you crying?
Well, yeah, why are you crying? Why are you sad?
Not that. It's not that, like, you know...
We're over-exaggerating
yeah, there we
but,
go.
you know, it's the typical normal quality of voice. But, yeah, you guys should really go see this movie. I mean, I'm normally suspicious of January movies, and I was suspicious of this one. It's phenomenal. You guys will love this, especially horror fans. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I got some Resistance or Mass Effect to play. I gotta see if they ever change the PSN store to something manageable and usable. And I gotta start figuring out what I'm going to do for the Soldier of Fortune Brain Junk Food. I haven't had a chance to record anything because of school, but I will get to that. Hopefully we'll be done, if not next week, by the first week of February, God willing. Until then, I will see you guys later.